Kopi Jana Vallabha Girdharidhari Jaya Kopi Jana Vallabha Girdharidhari Kopi Jana Vallabha Girdharidhari Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura Hare, Gaura Hare, Gaura Hare Jaya, Gaura Hare Jaya. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo, Nitai Gaura. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya. Go Premanandi, Sri Sri Radhanath ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Upadeshamrita ki, Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki, Sri Bhaktivedanta Purports ki, Go Premanandi. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to simple devotees. All glories to simple devotees. All glories to Guru and Gaurang. Those lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Om Agyana Timarindasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumalitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Pre Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Hevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So get the blessings of my senior God brother Vaitadi Prabhu, please bless me and all of you. I can say something of value. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing with the Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Text 6. Dristai svabhava janitairva pusascha dosai na praktatvam iya bhakta janasya pasyet gangam basam na kalubut buddhafe na pankai brahma dravatvam abhaga chatini radharmai. Everyone repeat the word for word. Dristai, seen by ordinary vision. Swabhava janitai, born of one's own nature. Vapusha of the body, cha and doshai by the false, na not praktatvam, the state of being material, iha in this world, bhakta janasya of a pure devotee, pashyat one should see, Ganga Basam, Gangaham Basam, of the Ganges water, na not, Kalo certainly, Buddha Faina Pankai, by bubbles, foam, and mud, Brahma Dravatvam, the transcendental nature, Apagachati, is spoiled, Niradharmai, the characteristics of water. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Being situated in his original Krishna consciousness position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee, but despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water. So the author of this wonderful, very instructive book, Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, there's a very nice analogy comparing a devotee to the Ganga. And the Ganga, or the Ganges, Ganga Sagar, Ganga, so many names. We know from the accounts in the Bhagavatam that is coming from the lotus feet of Vishnu, Narayan. And therefore, because it's coming from there, it is considered very pure. It's coming from the celestial, spiritual world. And it's described as being very, very pure. Seemingly, as the verse that we read, that there's so many discrepancies in the water, like pollution. Sometimes we see dead bodies, after they've been cremated, they've been just floating in the water. On many occasions we see that. And there's so much pollution from the factories that have the factories on the banks of the Ganga. And in modern times we see how there's a great resurrection of the rivers, the Jamuna and the Ganga. They've been so highly polluted. And it's a great concern. These are the most holiest rivers where pilgrims can go and purify themselves. Thousands and millions of pilgrims go, especially during the Kumbh Mela, or even during festival times. People go on tour and take bath in the Ganga for a special, so that they become purified. And although many materialistic people also go with such big contamination in themselves, and they come and practically leave, offload, isn't? They offload all their sinful activities, but the Ganga is still pure, doesn't get contaminated by such activities of the persons. And scientists have also analyze the Ganga to be pure. Yes, even in spite of all the impurities that we see there, it's still considered very pure. And we are taught, or we that when we take bath in the Ganga, we do Achman, without any reservations. We go to the Radha Kund. We don't see externally. Externally, you may see, like green patches of moss, and isn't? And people are washing their clothes all over there, and then there's turtles and all kinds of living entities in there. But we don't have any reservations. Isn't we simply based on faith, and somehow by the atmosphere of the whole place, we just surrender, right? Of our obeisances. I know when we were there with my Guru Maharaj, Giriraj Swami, he had various reservations about us taking bath in the Ganga. He said the best way is to take 3 drops on our head and offer obeisances like that. He wasn't very keen on us, because generally, when Prabhupada first took the Westerners, they thought this is like a swimming pool. They were like jumping in and cavorting in the water. But that's not the way the Ganga and the Radha Kund, all these, they should be, there's so much of respect. We should, and be careful of that, not committing any offenses like that. So here also the analogy of the Ganga and the devotee of the Lord, the pure devotee, the Uttama Hadikari. In the previous verse, we discussed the 3 levels of devotees: the Uttama Bhakta, the Madhyam Bhakta, and the Kanishta. And we have to see like that devotees are on different levels. Oftentimes we may come and may be mistreated, or we had bad experience with devotees, and we tend to class all of them in one basket, but it's not like that, isn't it? We have to see that devotees are on different levels of Krishna consciousness, and be acclimatized, or have knowledge of that. And of course, when we start in Krishna, we are also on that we are tendency to be very materialistic, prakrita bhakta. We come with that kind of, prakrita, full of material desires, but still we want some spiritual knowledge. We want to become spiritual, but we're still carrying all these baggage of material life. But nevertheless, we don't stay on that platform, of Kanishta. The definition of Kanishta is that he sees himself only as devotee and no one else. And in terms of knowledge, he thinks he knows everything. He doesn't need to hear from authorities, or maybe just his spiritual master is the others they can go fly a kite. He has that kind of attitude, and also he may be very offensive like that, because you may see on the material platform, he sees everybody on the material externally. He may have that vision of seeing externally, and that is the great danger of seeing externally. We remember the pastime of Rupa and Sanatan when they escaped from the Nawab, and Sanatan, for miles and for days and days, he was going through the forest, and he developed some kind of boils on his body. He looked very unkempt, and they use the term Darivesh. Darivesh translated modern times like a hippie, long beard, very dirty looking. And then when he saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, They had this confrontation, and he had a straw between his teeth. A straw between the teeth, and showing a sign of humility, utter humility. When one offers with that kind of mood, he's showing complete surrender. And to his dismay, Lord Chaitanya grabbed him and embraced him. With, with all his, Lord Chaitanya didn't see this person, no, he had a bad odor on him. No, he saw him as as a pure devotee. He wasn't seeing externally. And he embraced him. And of course, there was a wonderful dialogue there with both of them. That was the first meeting. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by example how to see. And he was very um, um, concerned about how the dealing with devotees, Vaishnava behavior. He was very, very, and he preached a lot on that, dealing with devotees, how to deal with devotees. Devotees are special. They are very, very special because it's very rare. Of this 8,400,000 species of life wandering in this universe for thousands and thousands of millions wandering. Of these, one surrendered soul of these millions comes to Krishna consciousness. By some good fortune, he comes to Krishna consciousness. So it's very rare to see Vaishnavas, to be with Vaishnavas. And Prabhupada would say, yes, we spent gallons of blood to make one devotee. And when we see he's been roughly treated or maltreated, and then as a result he leaves, it doesn't look very good. Because when will he come back again? When will he come back again? We don't know. So this is the danger of sometimes we sing from an external point of view. Yeah. There was a nice, Giriraj Swami tells a story about one bhakta who joined in Brooklyn. His name was Bhakta Pita. And Bhakta Pita was seeming like a very eccentric type of person. He would not follow the rules and regulations. If you live in an ashram, there's some rules and regulations to follow, right? You don't just do your own thing. But he was doing his, he wasn't concerned about regularity and all these things. He would just kept coming in the way of devotees. And so the temple president at that time was Sasarup Maharaj. Yes, so when Prabhupada came to that temple, he complained about this devotee. And Prabhupada listened to him and said, so, can't you tolerate? Yes, Bhakta Peter became known as, thank you, Crazy Peter. Guys, so this happened, then he went to another temple and the same thing happened. And Prabhupada also had the same complaint. And Prabhupada said, yes, what's the problem? Can't you tolerate? And years later, Giriraj Swami met the same devotee in New York during Mangalarti. He saw him very enthusiastically dancing, and he got the name Kusakrata, right? Kusakrata became a translator of all the Goswami's teachings. Yes. Yes. How's that? So, so Prabhupada could see like that. And a pure devotee can see the potential of like that. But from our Kanishta point of view, we commit a lot of offenses. We may be guilty of that. I may be guilty of that on many occasions. Um, but we learn, we not stay kanishta. We have to come to the point, at least be on the platform of madhyam. Madhyam, like the middle platform, is we show respect to other. That is a symptom of such madhyam bhaktas. They show respect for all devotees. They have a very good disposition to other devotees. They will serve them and respect them. And they will preach. And if, in terms of faith, also this can be, these three categories of can be according to one's faith. Also, they say the kanishta, his faith is very pliable. Pliable means like plastic, like clay. You can mold it. You can make one shape, break, mold it again, make another shape, isn't? Or plasticine. Pliable means he can change his faith according to. Sometimes when he has a bad time in being in Krishna consciousness, he may leave due to lack of faith. He may join some other movement, or go become Christian, or take to Islam, or whatever. And he may do the same thing because his faith is pliable. It can change. Such persons can. And we've seen that many occasions. We've seen devotees like that come and go. But the same kanishta, by association with those above him, the senior, the madhyam and the uttama bhaktas, just by that association, they can also gravitate or advance to higher levels of devotee. We don't want to stay kanishta. Sometimes we had this, that we are a kanishta society. We don't want to be a kanishta society. No. This Hare Krishna movement is a very dynamic. As Bhakti Charumani often comes, he says this Krishna consciousness is very dynamic. It's not static. We don't want to be static. Dynamic, yes. Dynamic means we have to gravitate or gradually, don't just stay in the same level. Every year comes, every year in Krishna, it means we have to be like, see our level of consciousness rise also, our advancement in spiritual life has to rise. Otherwise something is wrong with this process. And this is a perfect process, as Rupa Goswami is saying here. Rupa Goswami, one of the great disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who learned the heart of science of Krishna consciousness directly from the Lord himself. So he's very exalted souls, and just by studying this book, it's amazing. One can elevate himself. Yeah, Upadesh. Upadeshamri means instructions. Upadesh, instructions, and we have to take these instructions very seriously, especially Vaishnava culture, growing in Krishna consciousness, and that can come by association of advanced devotees. And also, Prabhupada printed gave us volumes and volumes of wonderful Krishna conscious literature. And we buy these books and we keep it. What Raghunath was saying, it's still wrapped in plastic. As it is. As it is means it's still wrapped, it hasn't been taken out. Even if you buy a beautiful Bhagavatam set, it's still in the box, or it's like with the cling wrapped around it, as it is. No, we want to scrutinizingly read these books. They they will benefit us so much. And of course, we all are going on Sankirtan. Sankirtan, book distribution, like yesterday, so many devotees, Kunti, Madhuri. Was good? Yes? Worth the trip. They went as far as Amslanga, right? Very nice cosmopolitan area. Very upmarket, so good chance for preaching. Yeah. So very encouraging when we see that. Books are going out. Books going out means some soul is getting saved. One soul is getting, even if you do one, even if you do any books, just sings and speaking about Krishna. This is Lord Chaitanya's message. Guru Amare, become good, become teacher, become guru. Krishna Upadesh, teach them about Krishna. Tell them about Krishna. So every book goes out, Prabhupada is so pleased by that, by our efforts and by our organization, intelligence of how to arrange the book distribution, because not everybody will read, but some person, it will make a difference. Some big person, some big diplomat, some president, somebody will read this book and may change his whole, and it may have such dire effects on the whole outcome things. And you are the instrument. We are the instruments of that. Even Arjun, when Arjun he was thinking, how I'm going to fight with all these millions of, how? And he said, no, you just become the instrument. Oh, Savya Sachin. Addressed him like that. Savya said, you are ambidextrous, you can shoot with both. You are skilled in shooting with, fighting with both hands, you can shoot arrows. Savya Sachin. In that way he was praising Arjun and empowering him. Yes, you just become my instrument. That's all. So similarly, we're following in that tradition of Arjun, the Sankirtan. We've just become the instruments of that. But same time, we have to take into cognition all the instructions are there. Because this is a culture. This Krishna consciousness is a wonderful culture. And we have to cultivate all the good habits. Generally, when we come with good, sometimes the tendency, like weeds, even though we may plant the seed of devotion, but we have to be careful that we don't cultivate weeds. When you plant something, there's also, the plant may grow, but along with that will come, is it unwanted weeds, unwanted weeds will come. We didn't ask for it to come, but it's there. So we'll be very, very careful, very focused that we don't cultivate also this. And this is what will lead to offenses and aparad. And aparad is the biggest, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called that the mad elephant offense. Ati mata. He says no matter how nice we may cultivate a garden, isn't very beautiful. But elephant comes on a rampage and he just destroys everything. So that no matter how nice we cultivate our, but one slip up, one isn't, and we may cause so much of havoc, like the mad elephant destroying the garden. We can destroy our spiritual creeper also, stifle the creeper. And that way we out. Prabhupada also quotes a very interesting verse from the Bhagavad Gita, very, very important verse. Apichet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadureva samantavya samyak vyavasito isa. It says, even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu. This is Krishna's opinion of a sadhu. Apichet sudaracharo. Because Arjuna was very concerned that he's going to killing his guru, his big pap, Mahapap, isn't Dronacharya. He was so concerned about that. And that's abominable, to kill one's own guru or to kill a cow. Of all the abominations, that is the most terrible sins. Yes. And Krishna is saying, Api chet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananyabha. Sadhureva samantavya samyagvyavasito isa. Even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered a sadhu. You know what he should be considered? Saintly, still a saintly person. Because the intent is there. The intention of being a sadhu is the intention is there. You follow? But sometimes, because Maya is very strong also. The material energy is very, very strong. And sometimes in a war there is casualties. Because when we become devotees, when we surrender to Krishna, means we no more surrendering to Maya. Or we gradually waning from the Maya. So she's going to try her utmost best to drop you. She will always try different ways, subtle ways of trying to distract you. So we all be wary of that. Maya is always there. This material energy is always there. Always. Even as devotees, we're always facing Maya all the time. Right? All the time. And we should be conscious of that. Not that we think we're free from Maya. No one should think like that. No one is free from Maya. Only the Supreme Lord and the pure devotees, the liberated souls. Yeah? Here Prabhupada quotes in the first verse, is Mamcho yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogana sevati sa gunan samatityetan brahma bhuyate bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in devotions, this from the 14th chapter, text 26. One who engages in devotional service who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Brahman is also a state of consciousness. Brahman. Vasudev. Sometimes you hear the word. Vasudev consciousness. Brahman. On the means the transcendental. We transcend. Coming to Brahman means we transcend the modes of nature. And that's not easy. The modes of nature are very, as Krishna says in Daivisha Gunamai Mama Maya. They're very difficult. Very, very difficult. So complex. Maya, the modes of nature, very, very complex. Very, very difficult. But only by surrender. Only through surrender can one easily cross beyond it. And that surrender is not so easy either. Spiritual life, Prabhupada said, may be difficult. Spiritual life may be. Of course, we all experience that, isn't it? Rising early in the morning, sadhana bhakti, isn't it? We like, especially now in the winter, we cold, we're dredging that and holding onto your blanket. That's Maya. Yeah, Maya. It's telling us, no, stay comfortably. You're very comfortable here. Why you want to go out there? So Maya is dictating that. So yeah, one has to transcend that. And sometimes we have to perform some austerity. Austerity. The wealth of the Brahmana is his austerity. Prabhupada wanted to create a Brahmanical society. Not a society of Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras. No. He wanted us to come to the highest level of Brahman, Brahma Gigyas, the absolute truth, coming to knowledge of the absolute truth, and disseminating that knowledge also. So on that platform, we can very easily attract people. And making devotees is one thing to maintain. Two, how will we maintain them? That will be the dilemma or the challenge. Isn't? We can make hundreds and thousands of devotees. but to maintain, that is the... hmm? Like you put a building up, it's easy to build something, it's easy to break it down, but to maintain it, like this temple took 5 years, of labor of love to build. So much of it took like 3 million rands that time. This is how many years? 30, 40 years ago. 3 million rand in nowadays currency is like how much? 60 million with inflation. That's what it will cost to build this temple now. So, but they worked very hard to build, but to maintain, to maintain everything, isn't it? And the devotees will live here and maintain and feed. They look after their Krishna consciousness, their spiritual life. It's not easy, because when we come to Krishna consciousness, means we're coming from different mindsets, different backgrounds, we're all carrying different baggages, isn't it? Different levels of baggages we're carrying. And we're coming here now together. Naturally there'll be, isn't it? Some conflict. But how to balance that? That, it requires intelligence, it requires discriminate and very intelligent planning, management. He's a manager he's the temple president of Port Elizabeth Temple, right? Satyajit Prabhu. He has a lot of knowledge about it. He's a seasoned devotee. More than, I think, 40 years plus he's practicing. And he's walked all over India. You know him? The bullock cart, when they went on parikrama. Pariyatra. He was with Lokanath Swami all the time, and they went all over India. So he's, you should take your blessings from him. If you want blessings to go to India. And he's seasoned. And I'm very happy to have him in our association. Take advantage. Yeah, he's wonderful classes. That. So this is the point, we have to look for that association which will benefit us. His coming here is nice. Very nice coming to the temple. We have to think what we're coming for. Just come to make chit-chat and take some prasadam and go home. No. We come here to take association. We come here to hear the holy name. We come here to see the deities, take darshan of the deities. And more importantly, we come to hear Bhagavad Katha. And we will not remember everything. But something will linger there. Something will make impact on you. Some. In that whole hour you've been here, a couple of seconds of something may have stuck in your consciousness, and that will benefit you if you home in on that. We all have that experience of coming to the temple. So we should have the right mood of coming to the temple and hearing and taking the right association. At least madhyam. Madhyam means those devotees who are mature in terms of faith, they won't fall down. One of the symptoms of a madhyam is he has very strong faith in this process of Krishna, and in spite of what challenges he won't fall down. He won't fall down. Yes. Madhyam, at least on that platform, we can preach. Prabhupada wanted us to be on that, at least on that level of, so we can preach to the innocent and the ignorant, and same time avoid the envious people. Yeah. But important thing is to have a good friendly disposition with all devotees. With whoever comes, not only whoever comes is a potential devotee. Whether he comes once in his lifetime, he's a potential. Krishna consciousness in everyone's heart. It's there, just lying dormant. It's lying dormant, waited to ignite, isn't? Everyone, we cannot discriminate. Oh, he's walking on the streets, he's smoking a cigarette, he's no hope, or you see a drunkard or a beggar, and they have no hope. No, we have to try and give them, ignite that fire, because it's there, it's lying dormant in every living entity, human being. That is Madhyam. On that platform, we must see like that. And avoid the offense. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, we due to our lower nature, sometimes, the modes, the modes of nature are very, very, we discuss, and under the modes we may, so at least we should try to rise, gradually rise above the modes of nature and come to this platform of Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. And then in the 18th chapter, it says, there's another verse says, na kanchati na shochati na kanchati. What's that? No more hankering and lamenting. That's another level. When we're free from anchoring and lamenting. Of course, as devotees, yes, for spiritual things we can anchor and lament. But not for material things. We have to transcend that. Anchoring lament will keep us rooted to those chains, like chains that anchor us to this material world. We want to be free from that. Na sochati, na kanchati. He becomes free from that anchoring and lamenting. That's on the platform of transcendence of Brahman. But it's not impossible. We study the lives of all these, of our predecessors, our acharyas, our spiritual masters, and we take more shelter of them and serve them nicely. Then we'll also develop that. We will imbibe those qualities also. Oh, uh, uh. Says by serving those, Bhagavatam says, by serving those Mahat Seva, those Mahat great souls, it says great service is done. What? By serving those who are great souls, Mahat Sevaya Vipra, those who are very advanced, by serving such persons. It says, Vasudeva Kata Ruchi. Vasudeva, we develop the edge, the affinity, Kata Ruchi. Ruchi means the taste for hearing about Krishna, Vasudeva. That's how by serving such persons who are Mahat Sevas, great souls. It says great service is done. Just by serving them, we do great service. So these are all the cultivation of how we cultivate our Krishna consciousness. Apart from chanting Hare Krishna and engaging in some menial devotional service, we have to, some routine work is there. We have to do that cultivation so that we can gradually come to the topmost Uttama Bhakta, the platform of pure transcendence. Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Is there any questions or comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the class. So I wanted to ask, how can we get to the platform of not judging devotees by their externals? Not looking at devotees like materially. How can we get to that stage of not seeing devotees by like the external kind of thing?
We'll direct the answer to Svetadip Prabhu, very elevated soul.
Okay. Can you read the translation first?
The verse.
Yeah.
Being situated in his original Krishna consciousness, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee as having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a deceased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding and being in the with will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water.
Yeah, the translation speaks a lot about um, by slowly increasing our Krishna consciousness, by cultivating Krishna consciousness under the guidance of our spiritual teachers, our guru. This is a point, and this is the most difficult thing to happen. As we grow in our Krishna consciousness, we progress, we develop this attitude of not finding faults and not finding the good in every single devotee. Because every devotee who has come to Krishna consciousness, they have some good thing in them, but in due course of time, sometimes they get carried away and they start to become a little bit slack in the practice. But we should not judge quickly. This will not happen if we grow our Krishna consciousness, our taste for chanting, our taste for deity, and taste for reading Bhagavatam. Yeah. One day, like I was in Mumbai a few years ago in Juhu temple, and His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj, who is one of the most learned sannyasi in Srimad Bhagavatam, and he would leave, who sleeps and wakes up with Srimad Bhagavatam for years and decades. And so he was giving initiation in the yard of this Juhu temple, and there was hundreds of devotees were preparing to take initiation. But Maharaj gave class. Now during the class, he mentioned something. I was a bit shocked. There was disciples, his very close disciples, who were complaining to him that one of the personal servant, he was mishandling the Lakshmi that was coming to Maharaj. And Maharaj these days is a little bit bodily disabled because of his, he had some stroke one time. Is still like Jayapataka Swami carrying on the preaching and spreading the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he said in the class, I was a bit shocked. He said in Hindi, because most of the time he speaks in Hindi. He said that, somebody has taken some stool in his hand and just going around making others smell, and this is not going to be good. He's spreading this badbu, his butt smells everywhere. So similarly, devotees, I am here, I am struggling to survive here and still carrying on preaching. Please don't come with these kinds of complaints. Try to resolve it among yourself, among the management. So devotees, sometimes they're in situations where they see things going wrong. Rather, to bring it out from them, they must approach the temple president or temple manager and speak it out, how they feel. They must not just keep it. But then they can also continue to cultivate the Krishna consciousness very genuinely, then all these things will not happen. Hare Krishna. Is it okay?
Thank you. I remember one devotee in Jew Beach Temple, Dhritarashtra was, remember him? Blind. Yeah, he was, but everybody liked, he was very likable devotee, completely blind. Yes. Hmm. Um, I was thinking of another verse in Bhagavad Gita, very famous verse, 5:18. Vidya Vinaya Sampana, Brahmani Gavi Astini Suni Chaiva Sapakacha, Pandita Sama Dashina. So, yeah, the verse is that you have to give up. Devotee means giving up the bodily concept. We cannot arbor the bodily and then look at. Then naturally we will, while we will see also externally that. But yeah, the verse Krishna is saying that a learned Brahmana or Pandit, he sees with equal vision. He's seeing a Brahmana, he's seeing a cow, he's seeing an elephant, he's seeing a dog and a dog eater. How he's seeing them equally, Samadashana, but they're all on different levels of social, terms. The Brahmana is like the head of society, he's very cultured. And the cow is the mode of goodness, the elephant mode of passion, the dog eater, Chandal, the dog eaters. They are in the mode of ignorance, Tamagun. So we have to cultivate that also of seeing with equal samadhi. What we sing? We sing the soul and the super soul present in all living entities. Even if somebody's, even a beggar, as mentioned earlier on, we tendencies to like overlook them or just their pitiful condition. We don't want to avoid them. No. All the more they should get prasadam, some kind word, some book, whatever. But that can change their lives. Being a beggar it's a temporary situation. Isn't being poor is a temporary situation. But being lack of Krishna, that is something. Lack of Krishna consciousness or ignorance of Krishna consciousness. That we should cultivate and give them that. So therefore we have that. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Raghu?
Okay, I'll make a few comments from your class. When you were speaking about Giriraj Swami, I was there at the time when he mentioned that we shouldn't really go into Radha Kund, and especially when we came to Radha Kund, you were there in 1999. Yeah. So he swam actually.
He was doing his Gayatri.
Yeah, so he really swam. He said he's doing it for all of us. So I'll actually follow that instruction up till now. That was a good point. The other, once I was in Mayapur and I was at the Ganges and you were talking about the body, bodies float half burnt, and I saw a body floating and a dog trying to eat the body.
Yeah.
And I'm right there, and I know the Ganges water is pure, so I took it and I just drank it because that's what it is, The other point is that the Ganges, like you was making the point of, we offload our sinful activities in the Ganges, and Prabhupada gave the example of prostitutes. They go to the Ganges to get rid of the sinful activities, but again, when they come out, they do the same thing. So because the seed, as you mentioned also that, the seed is still there, but when you take to devotional services, it gets rid of that seed of sinful activity. So that's the difference between, a devotee can do that. Yeah. That's what you require, a devotee. Then the other point I was thinking of, Maya, you was talking about Maya. You so many verses you quoted from 1426, 1 to 16. Your favorite verses, and very nice, 1854. But Maya, you're talking about Maya, it's, actually only a devotee can be in Maya. It's not a non-devotee. A non-devotee is already in Maya. So only a devotee can be in Maya because he knows the process and then breaks the principles and is under illusion. So I thought those points were relevant. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki, Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki, Upadeshamrita ki jai. Thank you. Please study this book. Thank you. Thank you for being supportive.